We took on one of our biggest projects yet, bringing this abandoned transit camper back to its former glory. Everything is in the back. But there's a catch. I wasn't allowed to spend any money fixing it up until we knew if the engine would actually run. Thankfully, we achieved this with Finlay and Darren's help. Yes, man! Boom! Now we're able to figure out all the parts we have laid out and start test fitting to see how it's all going to come together. I started with the dry fit of the front end and the wings that were already in primer. Back on the transit today, guys. I've been recording a little bit accidentally without you guys. So we're at this stage now. I've managed to get the front end on and I've got the lights sorted out. And the wings have been, they're off, so I've basically been doing a dry fit. Once I had the dry fit, I've removed the wings back off and I've sent them down to Danny for paint, so they're lying in there somewhere. Blank this whole car out, or it might be revealed by then. So, dry fit, got the wings back, we're ready to kind of start piecing this transit back together. A few things that I've got left to do. I've also fixed the washer system, but we need to fix the wings in place for the last time. The two bumper corners that go in the bottom. And then we need to start doing the sides. So today what I'm doing is I'm welding. So the previous person, you'll have noticed in the first video, had started to make an attempt at repairing this sill. So what we're doing today is, this is all them, I've not done any of that. And I've cleaned this up, so what I've done is I've run my wire wheel across it to clean it up, get some shiny metal and see what we're dealing with. And then I've started some welds here. I would say it maybe looks a little bit better in real life than what you guys can see there. They're nice and flat if I run across here. It would have been better me doing it at the time. There's obviously a little bit of rust down behind here and I don't want to take the whole sill off. We're just looking to tidy these up, and then I'm going to raptor that full strip there so it will all get hidden. These are going to be easy to flush down and dress because I've got them nice and flat. I've got my wire speed down, I've got my gas there. It's just slightly up because I'm welding outside, but again, I'm not a fabricator. Let's compare it to the person who was welding. That's theirs there, and this is mine, so I would say that's an improvement. I'm going to go back and try and fix that. This is where we're at. I'm going to do a timeline and show you guys some welding today. Just running my weld across here. A couple of bits opened up ever so slightly, so I'm just making sure I keep them closed. I need to go back and fix that hole there that's been left. As I'm coming along, I'm just using the hammer to make sure I'm closing that gap in there, and it's just going to make my welds a bit easier. Again, as you have seen on the Civic, I'm not a fabricator. I'm just trying to weld this up so that my friend can use his camper van. I'm just doing little spots like that, making sure I'm just taking my time, letting it cool down, making sure I'm doing relatively straight line. Every time the gap opens up, go with my hammer, make sure I'm keeping it closed. That's going to keep me nice and flat. Just taking my time, there's no rush with this. I've got the interior pushed back a bit because I'm myself today, so I can do a bit of fire watching, but I'm just taking my time. I've got this whole sill to nip across. Then we're going to sand it down and we can then get some raptor on it. one of the wings done by Danny. Danny obviously does the painting on it, and you can see here we've got some alignment to play with and a few other things. The van's still needing all cleaned, polished, and so that we can get the red to match. And I've got this sill to address as well. I actually have the inner sill to address on this side as well, I'm sure. And after that we can start getting finished this Transit. Interior's all still to be completed, but we've had it up and running. I'll give you guys updates, but this is where we're at. So we're hopefully getting I've told him a week on Sunday, which is like a week, it's like 10 days basically. I'm looking to have this finished in 10 days, so it's going to be a big push now to get it done so that I can work on that thing you can see there, and this thing you can see here. This one's been with us since December or so, so it'd be nice to push it on. I've also had it on and out with the customer the other day there, and we've noticed that one of the legs is broken, so we're going to try and source a leg for the awning bow canopy thing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's where we're at. Stick with us. On further inspection of the inner sill, I uncovered the thing I feared the most. The back sill and the inner arch were rotten. This is a huge setback. Just when I thought I was on the home straight, the welder's going to have to come back out. At first I felt this was actually out of my depth skill wise, but I've managed to fabricate it back up, one small section at a time. And then there was the bumper gaps at the front. These were horrendous, so they needed attention. Here we're going to show you how I'm going to correct the two sides outer sills where they had been welding done, and we've kind of primered it up already. And what I'm going to use to finish those sills is I'm going to use Raptor liner. You'll probably notice that when you see a few transit vans or different types of vans, pickups, whatever, driving past, you'll notice like the bottom third is black, and that indicates that it's been welded and basically undersealed, and they've kind of undersealed the outer sill. I don't want to leave this because it's a camper. I don't want to leave this black. I would rather we kept it to the colour of the vehicle. And how we're going to achieve that is this. So we've got Raptor liner here. It's not black, it's actually tintable. And what we're going to do, we've got one hit here, so this is one container. It comes in I've bought a pack of 4. We've got a hardener, so it's a 2-pack. And then to achieve our colour, we've got some paint that we're going to put in to tint. Now, when I got the wings painted from Danny, I asked him if he could set aside some extra paint for me so that I could mix up the liner. And we're just going to use a little roller tray with a little roller, and we're just going to put a rolled textured finish. I've masked off the bottom kind of third, and we're just going to roll it to leave a textured finish, which is going to be a bit more pleasing on the eye compared to just black spray under seal. So that's what we're going to do today. To mix this up, this kit I bought it as a pack of 4. It's quite good. It's got a line there of 237 millilitres. Yep, that was a 5 there. So we're going to fill up to that line. That amount of hardener makes up one bottle, and then we're going to tint it. So all I'm going to do is pour the hardener into the bottle, add our desired colour, whatever yours may be, and we're going to shake it vigorously for about a good 2 to 3 minutes, and that's going to be ready to rock and roll basically. To be truthful, I rolled some on last night, a first coat. I'm going to build up multiple layers. Some of the areas we're covering is black, so red's not the best to cover anything. So I'm rolling on a few more today. So when we go out, it will already be red. I've rolled one on. Things are progressing quickly on the Transit. We're actually trying to push it back to the customer. Things have been happening crazy, personal life and the business and the channel. So I'm trying to push this on. I'll get you guys up to speed when we go out there. Just at the shaking stage now. Shake for 2 to 3 minutes. It's a bit hard work. I've used this stuff before on a repair sill job. So I just keep using it now. The customer was pretty happy. I just always like to leave that coloured finish instead of just the black. A little bit more expensive, I would say, but not hundreds of pounds difference. You're maybe talking £10–15, and I think that's just better putting that little bit of effort in rather than leaving it black. I don't think that's pleasing at all. It says use around 10% of the colour to mix up. So whatever colour you're mixing, add 10%, and you can also add a little bit of thinners and stuff as well. But we're rolling this on just with the roller, and it works pretty well, to be honest. You can spray it on as well. You can attach your chutes gun to this and you can spray it. There's slightly different mixing ratios if you're spraying compared to rolling. I'm just following this for rolling. I've used it before and it worked well, so I'm just going to stick to that. Just to speak a little minute about preparation before you do this, I've keyed the surface and then wiped it down with panel wipe. To key the surface, I have these little Scotch pads that I've got on a buffer, and I'm just using my drill. And I've literally just went across it to key the surface and then wiped it down with a microfiber cloth and some panel wipe just to remove any dust or any excess behind. The reason I'm keying is just to give the Raptor something to grab on and bite onto. So we've pre-washed those sections, keyed the surface, wiped them down with panel wipe, and then it's ready, masked it up, and then it's ready to apply the layers of Raptor. I've just put another layer on this one here. I'm just going to keep going. I'm sure it says like leave it for half an hour between coats and then you can reapply the next coat. It will still be a little bit tacky to touch, but we'll be able to build up layers and layers of coats on this. So if Michelle draws the camera around here, you'll see I've masked off this bottom section here. The reason I've done that is because there's actually like there's a fold or a line in the van here naturally. So I've taped it there so it looks more of a natural split. And I've rolled up round the arches as well, just taking the curvature of the line. So it's got a textured finish to it, and you can see it's a pretty good match. To be honest, I'm not sure if I've left myself with enough red paint. It's a slightly lighter colour, but we should be okay. That's my mistake for not maybe used too much of my leftovers on this mix and not this mix, but we're going to roll it on anyway. You can see round about here where it's going to take multiple coats. There's already 2 coats on this. We're just going to keep running. A full bottle should hit both sides multiple coats. I think I managed to give each side roughly 3 thin rolled coats using half a bottle. So today we've mixed up a full bottle and we're just going to keep rolling until we run out. I'm not really worried about leaving an edge or anything because it is a protective stone chip paint. And we're just going to make sure that we get everything covered up and there's no flashing happening. And that's it, really. Well, it's not too bad. Slightly light in comparison to yesterday's. You will notice I'm going to kind of let you guys know just now, I don't think these rollers I'm using work well with this type of mix, whether it be the hardener or the paint. You can see there it already wants to separate. The roller's rubbish. And what's happening is the lining of the roller is separating. So I've bought extra ones just to get me through. You do get specific ones for Raptor. It's like a textured roller. I'm assuming they work better. I did actually have a couple, but someone used them without my permission. So I don't have them with me. So I'm just using a normal roller. A little tip which I discovered yesterday was when the roller starts playing up is to cut the saggy end off with a pair of scissors and then it seems to last a bit longer. Make sure you've got plenty of roller heads. And this is the finished results after removing the masking tape. Next episode, it's time for the big clean and polish all the paint back to the same colour. We'll see you then, and thanks for watching.